Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of the Mark and Mike Show. Mike's still gone, but in this episode, I'm going to talk about some changes I made to my front suspension on my 250 SX to turn it into a woods bike. These are changes that made a world of difference, as you'll see later on in this video. Alright, so I'm up here on my 250 because my 300's got a big crack in the exhaust. And I ordered a new one, but it hasn't come yet. Then I've been doing a bunch of work to this bike, so I thought it'd be a good chance to kind of tune it up, get it working better. This is my loaner bike, my backup bike. When I typically, if I take somebody riding, if it's somebody new, I let them use my 300. Because it's so much easier to ride. But if it's not somebody new, I let them pick. And the 250's fun. I think the 250 makes you smile more than the 300, but the 300's definitely a lot easier to ride. And of course, part of that is my 300 is a 2014. This is 2006, but the big part is the 300 is an XC. It's a woods bike. This is an SX, a motocross bike. The back end sticks to the ground a lot better on the 300. I don't know if that's the suspension or if it's just the 250's pipe here. With no e-start on this, I have more incentive to make sure I don't kill it. So I've been working on turning this into a woods bike for a number of years, but over the winter I made some changes to the front suspension. And I think it's running pretty good. So I put 4.5 weight oil in it, and that's definitely helped. It feels a little more like the 300. Before it would just about jar your teeth out. I think the back end is still a little hoppy. This is probably part of the reason why it's not sticking. Whoa! Front end wants to push on this a lot more, I noticed, than it does on the 300. Yeah, the front end just wants to push. Don't know why that is. And I'm about to tell you how I completely fixed the issue with the pushing, but before we do that, I thought I'd show how well this 250 goes up something steep. You know, you just got to slip the clutch a little bit. You know, people say that the 300s are great at this, but so are the 250s. You just got to play with the clutch a little bit, which is what makes riding fun, you know. So when I got home, I raised the front end by lowering the forks in the triple clamp. You can see there's a very small gap. This is what the gap looked like before adjusting. This is actually my 300, but that's what the gap was. And just those few millimeters ended up making a huge difference. It makes the bike more stable, kind of a little bit more like a Harley. Yeah, see, I used to hate this trail on this bike because it was so bumpy, but now it just goes right over these. Yeah. So this is the following weekend after making the adjustment. I'm on the 250 and my buddy David is riding on my 300. Oh, this is fun. And it is shocking what a difference just a few millimeters in ride height made. The pushing issue was pretty much totally gone. Oh, this is fun. And I was totally blown away on this ride, how much more fun the bike was to ride with that small change. It's kind of hard to describe, but the bike was just more stable. It was, it should technically have been a little bit harder to turn, but it was a lot easier to turn, I think, just because it was a little bit more stable. And the bike was just putting such a big smile on my face. It was so much fun to ride. Oh man, this bike is so much fun. Yeah, the front end is so much better. Oh yeah, this is so much better.
Hey, first or second?
I'm starting in first, but I shift into second pretty quick usually. So then we decided to try going up Yard Sale Hill, see what kind of time we could set. I ended up crashing before I got to the top, so it ended up not being the greatest time. But so there's two big changes to that front end that just made it so much more enjoyable. Part of it was the fact that it's a little bit more stable, and a big part of it is that 4.5 weight fork oil, which just made the front end softer and easier to ride up in the woods here. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. And it's hard to believe, but I think the front end is a little bit softer on my 250 at this point than it is on my 300. Oh man, I'm tired. And this is one of the trails where I was having issues with the bike pushing on the earlier ride, and as you can see here, it's working fine without any issues at all. Oh, my legs are tired. Yeah, normally I'm flying through here, but my legs are just too tired. Don't go too fast. Yeah. So don't be afraid to play with the ride height of your motorcycle. This is something I should have done a long time ago. It really made a big difference. I'm going to start playing around with that a little bit more because it just transformed this bike. It made it into a really fun bike to ride. Yeah, I'm glad I did it. So, as always, thanks for watching. Oh man, I'm sore. Yeah. That was a workout.